everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're diving into the recent conflict between Iran and Israel. It's been a roller coaster, if we can even call it that, of events. And while both sides are claiming victory, there is there's a lot more beneath the actual surface. So let's unpack what really happened. Why some analysts believe that Iran came out on top strategically, because that is what a lot of people are saying, and we're going to talk about that. So let's talk about what actually happened to start this shit, okay? So what kicked off this whole situation? Well, on June 13th, 2025, Israel launched a surprise attack targeting Iran's nuclear facilities, including Fordo, I think it's called Natanz, and Isfahan. The goal was to cripple Iran's nuclear capabilities. In retaliation, Iran fired missiles at Israeli cities and a US base in Qatar. This marked a significant escalation in hostilities. Now, that is what we know so far, and the whole thing took about somewhere near 12 days. So Iran, they did a lot of strategic calculations, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, so Iran's response wasn't just about firing back. It was calculated. By targeting the US base in Qatar, Iran sent a clear message of deterrence without provoking a full-scale war, because they warned them in advance. The missiles that struck on Israel, while largely intercepted, demonstrated Iran's capability to retaliate and challenge the perceived how invulnerable is Israel. Well, it's not, and Iran basically proved it, right? Now, beyond that, there's also the psychological and the political impact of this entire thing. So Iran's ability to withstand the initial Israeli assault and respond effectively boosted domestic morale and consolidated political unity, Internationally, Iran's measured retaliation garnered sympathy and highlighted the risk of it just showed how amazing that their military is. And, it showed the actions of US and Israel and how they work together. It actually showed that. What about diplomatic maneuvers and regional influence? Well, Iran leveraged the conflict to strengthen ties with regional allies and positioned itself as a leader, resisting Western aggression. The threat to blockade the Strait of Hormuz underscored Iran's strategic importance in global energy markets and served as a warning against further escalation, because the moment they said, we're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, that's it. Everyone panicked, because then oil prices will just skyrocket. What about the military outcomes and strategic gains? Let's talk a little bit about that. So while Israel achieved tactical successes by damaging, Iran's infrastructure, Iran's ability to preserve key assets and continue operations, I would say, indicated resilience. The conflict exposed vulnerabilities in Israeli defense systems and demonstrated the limitations of military solutions to geopolitical disputes. Because prior to this, everyone thought that, no one could ever attack Israel. Well, they did. And did they strike them? Yes, they did. What about the long-term implications of this? We need to talk about that. So the conflict has reshaped regional dynamics, with Iran emerging as a more assertive player, willing to challenge adversaries directly rather than just escaping, right? The necessity for diplomatic engagement has become evident, as prolonged hostilities threaten regional stability and global economic interests. So it's really important that they need to talk now, because now Iran has asserted themselves as a country that can protect themselves and is willing to retaliate against superpowers, right? So in conclusion, Iran's strategic approach during the conflict with Israel has yielded significant gains by balancing retaliation with restraint. Iran has enhanced its regional standing and demonstrated the effectiveness of strategic patience over impulsive aggression. As the dust settles, the importance of diplomacy and measured responses become increasingly clear in navigating complex international issues. Now, what's happened next is the US is now discussing let's say a civilian version of nuclear power. So that means that they would be able to have nuclear power, but not be able to use it as weapons. And that is the discussion that just restarted with Iran recently, and we will see how that actually turns out. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.